Queen Jane approximately. At long last, we get gifted with a love song per se. At least in my eyes, a direct call-out. Sure, like a Rolling Stone has Miss Lonely, but the multiple uses of you, over and over again, direct me to think that Dylan is talking about himself. Anyways, we have structure in this song. We have the A-B rhyming scheme with the repeating line of, "Won't you come see me, Queen Jane?" Furthermore, the A lines end with a double syllable rhyme, and the B lines end in "ain" to match the Jane. Now, who is Queen Jane is forever up for debate. The idea, at least, could have come from the death of Queen Jane. Many have ideas that this could be Joan Baez, although later in 1965, Dylan says, "Queen Jane is a man," which, as always with Dylan, could be him saying things. To me, the song is about giving the truth, and that the writer has the truth, or at least a better option than what Queen Jane is doing. One of my favorite lines is, "You're sick of all this repetition," as Dylan gives us back-to-back same lines right after that one, and it ties into the common folks' lives, in which we constantly do our routines and mundane tasks. Recording-wise, the guitar is out of tune, slightly sharp. Some may notice it, some may not. And they might have back then, but according to Harvey Brooks, who played bass on this, said, "His performance and the overall feel were the determining factors of the master take. Tuning or mistakes were not as important." Personally, I don't mind this, and I adore the powerful downstroke the guitar has right before the "Won't you come see me, Queen Jane" lines. I think this song is a strong fan favorite, despite Dylan only playing it 76 times in concert. Highway 61 Revisited. Okay, when searching this album online, I got a lot of results regarding this song, and rightfully so. It bears the same name as the album, but it's a great title. A story revolving around God, and in many minds, including Dylan's, nothing is higher than that, so he pairs it up with Highway 61. In the first verse, Dylan sings a conversation between God and Abraham, a story straight from the Bible, or straight from Dylan's life, as that was his father's name, Abe at the very least, which Dylan shortens to after the first line and adds some 60s jargon with the man response from Abe. The back and forth almost seems comical in a way, and the police siren certainly helps with that vibe. Dylan ends the verse, and every verse, with Highway 61, like this is Dylan's holy land, where anything is possible. The next verse includes references to characters from the blues lore. Georgia Sam is the subject of Georgia Sam Blues by Anna Lee Chisholm, and or a reference to the alias Blind Willie McTell used sometimes. Poor Howard is the protagonist of Leadbelly's Poor Howard Green Corn from 1939. Now, there's certainly more and more references to conclude the song, but I don't want to repeat and use someone else's research, so I highly recommend checking out this post by Chris Gregory. He is most certainly included in my sources section in the description, among others. Reading the lyrics, it's a cool short story, even if you don't know the references. A basic rhyming pattern that just works, no need to overthink it. My favorite is the ending, it fits perfectly. We'll just put some bleachers out in the sun and have it on Highway 61. Dylan expanding on his thoughts of Highway 61, as if the space is never ending, that you can fit whatever you think into it. And that's the overall theme for the album. The ideology Dylan has here is respect and freedom. Respect for the people before him and all the names including the title, and the freedom to explore and expand on the sounds. Although credited as Police Car Siren, it's really just a siren whistle that drummer Sam Lay brought in. Which, yeah, we should point out that this is the only song Bobby Gregg did not drum on. And I'm not sure why. A thought could be that he showed up late to recording, but they started at 8 p.m. and ended after 3 a.m. Maybe Dylan wanted something different, but I can't imagine Bobby not being able to give Dylan what he wanted. Sam let Dylan use his whistle as Sam would have it on his keychain, so perhaps Dylan thanked him for that by allowing him to play on this song. But Al Cooper also takes credit, saying he wore a siren whistle around his neck at parties, and he said he told Dylan, "Forgo the harmonica and put the police siren in your harp holder." At any rate, this is 100% a blues tune and written in the key of B flat, possibly playing homage to Robert Johnson's Crossroad. With over 10 million streams and playing this more than 2,000 times, fans and Dylan adore this song. Just like Tom Thumb's Blues. If, for whatever reason, Desolation Row didn't exist, I enjoy the opening piano so much, The melody sounds like a farewell. The real Highway 61 certainly does not flow into Mexico, where this song begins, and there's no documentation Dylan was there either. Obviously, he didn't need to be there to create this work, as he states, "If anyone has imagination, he'll know what I'm doing. If they can't understand my songs, they're missing something." Dylan's references in this one are plenty. Edgar Allan Poe, Jack Kerouac, Arthur Rimbaud, and Hank Williams. There's no chorus. Dylan fits in a harmonica solo before the last verse and gives us a little more in the outro. This time, using a simple key of C harmonica as the song is in the key of G, which again fits perfectly well. Some slight variations, but only 3 main chords are used. It took them 16 takes to perfect this, with Sam Lay doing the drums in the early takes to be switched out for Bobby Gregg. Dylan needed this, as he says, "The point is not understanding what I write, but feeling it." Columbia provides us with 2 line changes in verses 2 and 6. In the song, Dylan adventures around the Mexican town only to say fuck it and return back to where he feels safe. The following year, while performing it in Australia, Dylan says, "The song is about a painter. His name's Tom Thumb, and right now he's about 125 years old, but he's still going. Everybody likes him a lot down there. He's got lots of friends." This is when he was going through his blue period of painting. He's made countless amounts of paintings. You couldn't think of them all. This is his blue period painting. I just dedicate this song to him. I believe there's always some truth to every Dylan quote, and that he talks about himself, the real self within it. Although the quote and title says it's blues, the song, to me at least, is not blues-like, with maracas being heard in the background, played by no other than Bruce Leghorn. Wrapping up the album. With us skipping Desolation Row, as I have a video on it already, we have to wrap up the album. It's hard to do that with at least mentioning Desolation Row, which I desperately need to do, as it will really put across the point I'm about to make. The album, including the name and the track that bears its name, was all Dylan praising his idols, referring to them countless times, all the blues songs that he mentioned. And not to say Desolation Row doesn't have that same effect, it feels different. It feels that he created Desolation Row within the bounds of Highway 61. We talked about how we started with a masterpiece and ended with one too. Ending on a song that is over 10 minutes long is absolutely insane. Insane to do it back then as well. We thought Like a Rolling Stone was long. To everyone else dominating the charts at the time, they hold no candle to the length and content Desolation Row offers. There's no arguing this album is a gem, peaking at 3 in the US and going platinum in 1997. In 2003, Rolling Stone magazine described Highway 61 Revisited as one of those albums that changed everything, and placed it at number 4 in its list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. It was inducted to the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2002. Michael Gray, who primarily covered Dylan and has been called an expert on rock and roll history, names Highway 61 revolutionary and stunning, not just for its energy and panache, but in its vision, fusing radical, electrical music with the lyrics that were light years ahead of anyone else's. Dylan here unites the force of blues-based rock and roll with the power of poetry. The whole rock culture, the whole post-Beatle pop rock world, and so, in an important sense, the 1960s started here. Pop Matters critic Hank Collette said the album gave literate rockers the green light to create a kind of intelligent, probing rock music that had not existed before. It's evident that this album was the catalyst for what direction singer-songwriters could go, and it can all be traced back to Newport, the so-called electric scandal, where angry fans battle with a man who refuses to never back down. I was thinking that someone was shouting, "Are you with us? Are you with us?" And, I don't know, what's that supposed to mean? Dylan wasn't with them, as he proves that with Ballad of a Thin Man, as he makes damn sure Highway 61 Revisited is something you have never heard before with that siren. Although much of the stories say that the crowd wasn't happy with him going electric, it could have been that nobody was ready for it. Not even the equipment was suited for it, with him saying in 1978, "When I played Maggie's Farm Electric in Newport, that was something I would have done years before. They thought I didn't know what I was doing and that I slipped over the edge, but the truth is..." Cooper and Michael Bloomfield remember that scene very well, and what the newspapers say happened didn't actually happen that way. Don't forget, they weren't equipped for what we were doing with the sound, but I had a legitimate right to do that. Damn right he did, and I'm forever grateful Dylan did what he did. I know we all are. So go out there and enjoy the excellence that is Highway 61 Revisited, and know that when you listen, you're listening to a man who was defiant and succeeded greatly in his goal. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see what others think of this breakdown and the album.